Hello, friends. Welcome to the Faith Culture Podcast. And today I'm so happy to have with me Stan Nze. Welcome to the show, Stan Nze.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to have you. And congratulations on your many awards. Congratulations.
Gracias,
God
gracias,
bless
gracias,
you.
gracias.
Yeah. I feel so honored to have you on the show. And and I can't wait for you to share with us, those inspiring stuff, about your career, your faith in God, and your marriage. Many people know you, but I believe they want to know you deep down. They want to know what you represent, in terms of your Christian faith, marriage and your career, and that is what we're talking about today. And I feel so honored that you're on the show, to do this with me. I don't take it for granted at all. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Before we start, you want to say hello to your fans? I know a lot of them will be waiting to, jump on this episode.
Hello, Nzerians worldwide. It's Yamazi here again, Mazinze.
My wife asked me to tell you that she's an Nigerian too.
Yes, so. So we are building such a great community worldwide. It's so amazing. That we have such a great following of people that just love us and just want to see us win and just want to see us get anything. I mean, it has taught me so much in such a little time that there's my people will say Igwebu, Ikewi Igwe, like there's strength in number. The Nigerians were very instrumental to my AMVCA winning, from our channel. I know there are a lot of advices I get just from listening to people share their own conversations and share their own thoughts on different issues. So we're a family in our community, and it's so amazing. I just want to say thank you to all of you that just keep supporting our brands and just keep hanging in there and just keep praying for us and watching us win. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I think I'm also an Nzerian because actually
you're an Nzerian. You're an Nzerian.
Awesome. Okay, so it's so nice, and I love the fact that you're building the community of people who love what you're doing, and and all of that. And it's so good. It's so good to have somebody who represent God, in the spotlight, and also keeping it down, in the home. It's a beautiful thing, and I thank God for your life. All right. So, I would like to talk about your Christian faith. How did you come to know about Jesus? How did you start a relationship with God? Briefly.
I heard about Jesus plenty times. I mean, right from Sunday school back in as little as I was when we were in Ilorin, like 6. At least that's when I knew. Like when I know, I can say that I could be somewhat accountable for myself, but on and off, I gave my life to Christ the first time, and that was secondary school. I would have been in my GSS 3. I was about 12, 13. But I'm going to say that my relationship, like you're giving your life to Christ, yeah? And then it used to be like almost every other month. Whenever there's an altar call, you're wondering whether the life what you give before, whether take Jesus' hand again, you are going to give it again. So it was almost like that on and off until 2010, between 2010 and 2011. There's a program my church does. It's called camp. It's like a camp meeting. I worship with Dominion City, and we do like a camp meeting program like every year. So this particular camp meeting, I was just tired of the norm. I was a Christian, but I was living in sin. I was a Christian. I was dabbling into so many things. I was in the choir and I was not living a holy life. You know how that you are not there. And we just say, oh, grace. So, but even it's Peter that said, may we continue in sin that grace may abound. So I had to get to a place in my Christian faith where I wanted to be serious with God. And I like to think that's when I genuinely got my salvation.
Yeah.
When I decided that this journey, I want to even play my own part. I want to take it seriously. All that has been provided for us on the cross of Calvary, I want to start being a beneficiary of it. I want to be a beneficiary of divine health, of provision, of acceptance, all that. And I remember that I had very profound experience prior to that time. That was in 2011. Prior to that time, I would just speak in tongues because of the sake of it. They speak in tongues. But when you get to a point in your Christian, it's like, if this thing works, can I experience it? Can I genuinely experience it? And I remember then there's this pastor in the university, Reverend Oyix. They say, if Reverend Oyix lay hands on you, you must speak in tongues. I say, oh, perhaps let me get a kneel down so that she can lay hands on me. We had all these very wrong notions. Then I had this friend, because it was camp meeting, so we had we're in rooms. So that particular night, I know that he said to me that you don't even need Reverend Oyix to lay hands on you. This thing is available to you here. If you yearn for it, if you want it, you will experience it. And that's how God is. I remember I did water baptism. I just wanted to take it seriously. I did water baptism that day. And that night, I wanted to genuinely have an encounter with God. That day, that time in your life where you say, the Jacob experience, I will not let you go to a day unless you touch me. So it started with that very big burden and hunger. That day I just noticed that what happened to me that night is that I was just very hungry for the things of God. I had such a great encounter. I didn't start speaking in tongues that night though. It didn't even happen that night. The next morning session, because that was a Sunday night. Morning session was after that session, we'll be back to town.
Yeah.
We did that morning session. I was on the floor. I was hungry. I just wanted to continually pray. I noticed that when I got back home, I became like an evangelist. I wanted to tell everybody about Jesus. Because that's what happens when you get the fire, right?
That's true,
I had this insatiable urge to just want to be in the presence of God. I don't go waiting. They say midweek service don't reach. I don't rush. They go to church. I would look forward to my devotion every morning, that 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to just come and be in His presence. So there was this one in that week. I think it was on the Tuesday. I will not forget. It was on the so I came back from camp meeting on a Monday. It ended on Monday morning. I came back to Lagos on Monday. It was Tuesday now, and for my church, we usually do our midweek services on Tuesdays. So around, I think 2-ish, I had this sister. My youngest sister has cerebral palsy, so she was in the room, and I went. I felt led to lay my hands on her to pray, and as I laid my hands on her, I just noticed I was speaking in strange tongues. As in, I couldn't really, and this is not me thinking about it, right? This is not me even saying I want to do it. I was speaking in strange, I wouldn't forget my first set of tongues. It was so from praying with her, I entered my room, I shut the door, I was on the floor, just blasting. I went to midweek service that day. So that was, I like to think that was my own experience of genuine Christianity, as to just going to the altar to give your life to Christ. Nobody even had to call any altar call. I just wanted to experience this thing that they say is real. I mean, my pastor will always put it this way: if divine health is real and you're not experiencing it, how do you know that it's real? How do you know that Jesus really died for these things if you haven't experienced it? So that's what I made up my mind to do. And ever since then, I've had some low moments, I want to backslide moment. God will hold on to you, So, but that was when I had my own genuine, experience. Yeah.
Wow, great stuff, great stuff. And just anybody wondering out there, it's possible, when I ask the question, how did you come to know the person of Jesus personally? Most person will be like, of course, I know Jesus, right? It's not enough to know Jesus by the letters. It's also I'm talking about you having a relationship with him, and that is what, Stan just sort of described for us, his own personal story. And I'm happy you also talked about the fact that even afterwards, it hasn't been rosy, right? I mean, the challenges are there, but God is faithful, to hold us, to keep us, along the line. Beautiful story. Yeah, thank you so much. And I mean, just to also encourage somebody out there, you don't, this thing is real, right? We're not just talking about what people say or people, what you read. It is real. The real life
Mm.
in God is possible, and you or as well can experience it, right? Beyond, the whole cliche and all of that. You need to have this personal relationship with God, and it transforms your life genuinely. Right. Thank you once again, Stan. Okay, now let's talk about, after that experience and all of that, your own person, how has it sort of impacted, the way you see your career as a person? You are a movie star, but how has your faith in God impacted on your career life? Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a career outside of Christ.
Mm,
Like everything I'm doing now is set on the foundation of Christ. I mean, I never used to be this famous. I never used to have all these awards I have now. I've been acting professionally since 2009. So I met Christ. I became serious with Christ even while I was in Nollywood. Um, and it's been quite a journey for different stages. It's been, constant obedience to his word to now make what we know as the brand Stan Nze today. So my faith in God has impacted my career so much. And I think it's been very instrumental to my speed. It's been very instrumental to my character. I mean, it says, by their fruits you shall know them. You don't know who is a believer or who is a Christ-like just by him saying, "Oh, I'm a Jesus baby," oh, hashtag Jesus boy, put Jesus on your DP. It says by their
yeah.
fruits. So it tells me one thing, yeah, the best way I can preach the gospel to anybody is living the gospel.
Mm,
The best way I can prove to a producer or to my fellow colleagues that I'm Christ-like is by showing up to set on time, is
mm,
by talking to people nicely, is by being patient in situations that would require my busting out and saying, "Don't, how dare you?" It's by, you know, not doing those things that the regular stars would naturally do. And it's by character. So constantly throughout my journey as an actor, it has been God that has been fashioning the sort of star that I am, that has been molding and harnessing me to be that person that he wants me to be. So it's been concurrent. I mean, I don't have a career outside Jesus. You know
mm.
how they say, what would Jesus do in every situation? That's literally
Yeah.
what I would do, you know, because you would agree with me that the entertainment business, like you're in the wolf business, you are in the den. It's hard
Yeah.
to keep your faith. It's hard to be a believer, or it's easier to maybe go to church on Sunday, and by the time you're leaving church, you're dusting your shoe. Say, this one is church. Let's get into the world. I mean, it's supposed to be a lifestyle, right? So that is how that's how Jesus has been very instrumental to my journey thus far. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as easy. So there are times I feel like busting out. There are times where I'm cranky on set, and the go-to thing feels like make them know say you be star, or but you constantly have to remind yourself. I know that there are times, and that's how I do that is that I constantly I don't allow the oil run dry, so daily devotion with Christ, study of the word, that not so it be like say don't they come out yesterday. By the time you get to your devotion in the morning,
Yeah.
they help
That's
you
correct.
tight some back, so it's a constant fellowship. So in constant fellowship, we become more like Christ, and it now supposedly seems easy.
Yeah, yeah, it is in that constant fellowship that you get to put yourself in check. I mean, that is a
Mm,
fantastic, perspective. So now I'm going to ask you this, Stan, because I know a lot of your
mm,
fans will be really, yearning to hear your response to this question. Is it possible to, I know, yeah, to you, it's possible to be a Christian and, still be, in the kind of career you are in. Well, what would you find? Have you ever found yourself in a situation whereby you were denied a role because of your faith?
Yeah, a couple of times I've had to say no. And so nobody's denying you the role. It's you that
Okay,
is
you.
saying no to the certain things that you are seeing in this role, and you're saying, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do that. And after a while, it just sort of happens that there are some people that will probably not contact you anymore. They say, "Oh, Stan, you know, good job, Stan, Stan." So it's some I don't even know about, but because of the stand I have in this industry, some people will not bring some certain things to me. So it just sort of it helps when you announce yourself when you come to a certain place. Like I come to a set, I announce that I'm Christian, and it's not by saying, "Oh, I'm a believer." It's by the sort of life you live. Even there, it's by
Yeah.
just saying as little as, "Oh, can we pray in the morning before we start?" It's as little as somebody swears and you say, "Oh, please don't do that here." You know, it's in those very little things, and they can just tell. You know, in the way you speak, in the way you carry yourself, it's character. So you attract what you are. So I naturally, there are things they will not bring to you because of the stand you have. So it's sort of just being, I'm not saying it's not a walk in the park. Like, for instance, I don't drink. And this is not to say that it's bad to drink or anything. But because I don't drink, I would not promote like an alcoholic brand. So I've had times when people say, this one is huge. It is maybe we're going to shoot the commercial in SA for so and so brand. I'm like, no, I don't do alcohol. They're like, what? You don't do alcohol? So there's this one, a manager from Nigerian Brewery said, "Oh, we're trying to reach you. I'm sending your number to her." Just that I don't drink. And it's shocking to them. I don't do betting. Like, okay, for instance, I had people, tons and tons of people say, "Oh, we want you to influence." There are brands like I naturally cannot influence from. And you'll agree with me that even that gives us more money than acting. Because all I need to do in my house is take one particular thing and say, "See, AirPod is working. I'm using it. Wow, so clear, noise cancellation." I collect money, I post it on my page. Yeah. As to set, you go wake up in the morning, and I do it from a comfort of my home. But when I'm shooting a proper film, I wake up 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I have to shower so that I can get to set by 7 or 8. You know, that is more rigorous. And yeah, so it's easier money, but there are things like brands I can't promote. There are brands I can't be associated with because of my faith in Jesus. And I make it known to you, "Oh, I don't do this, I don't do that." Some people feel disappointed. They feel like, "Oh, a brand my stature, a best actor in Africa, should be able to do one or two." Yeah, but I say, if you have Fanta, bring, I will drink. If you have that, so.
Wow, great stuff, great stuff. I love the way you emphasize character. I love the fact that you also mentioned that people should know you for who you are, not just by the name, but by, by the
By
character you,
leaving it, yeah.
by living it exactly. I mean, it's really beautiful, and I love the fact that you're taking your stand, right? And this is actually an encouragement to probably aspiring Christians who want to come into, Nollywood, or and they're just wondering, like, is it possible for me to keep my faith while I do, acting? And I mean, this is just a very good response to them and an encouragement to them. Thank you so much, Stanley. So now
Thank
I
you.
want to talk about, your awards. Let me ask you, did you at some point see this coming, or did you visualize it? Were you confessing it? I mean, and now it's a reality, or you just stumbled on them?
Okay. So I'll just show you our vision board real quick.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay. Wow.
so this one says, "Lesson Jessica Bassett, that's my wife, is the wife of AMVCA 8th edition winner, best actor." This was before we won the
Wow.
AMVCAs.
Wow.
Okay, this is there's Paris on our vision board. We were just in Paris recently. We wanted to go to Santorini. It didn't happen. This is my wife, Forbes. And this, like, this is just like a glimpse to the kind of thing. So yes, we talk about it, we dream it, we think about it. That's not to say it happens the way you want it or exactly as you want. I mean, I've thought about my AMVCA for years, right from 2013. Every time there's a nomination, I'm looking out for that list and hoping my name will be in it. Year after year, I'm hoping that I will do a movie that can put me at par with the other people that might be nominated, that will give me a chance to get a nomination.
Yeah.
So yes, it's something I've always dreamt of. It's something I've always thought of. It's something I've always said. But to be honest, at some point, I stopped looking at the awards and started looking at just being a great actor, because what the award is like icing to the cake.
Yeah.
So I think it can be a bit distracting when you focus on the accolades. So I got to understand at some point that focus on the work, do the work. If you do good work, the accolades will naturally follow suit. So that's what I did for Rattlesnake, which I'm most nominated for now. That's what I got the award for. That's what I won the award for. The AMVCAs and of course the Septimus Awards. It was both both awards were for Rattlesnake. So where the real work happened was behind the scenes for Rattlesnake. So I didn't have to pray so much for the AMVCAs. Once God blessed me with a project that would bring the AMVCAs, it just sort of happened. So it's like a seed, right? Rattlesnake was a seed that is now germinating to create all this giant tree and creating all this fruit. So the awards are the fruits, the accolades are the fruits. The work really is getting on that project, and that was like breaking it for me.
Wow, amazing stuff. I mean, I was really inspired by the vision board, you just showed. And I know everyone, watching this also inspired or listening are inspired by that. Okay, guys, I've been speaking with Stan Nze, AMVCA award winner. It's so nice to have him on the show today. He's been talking about his life, his faith, his career, and now we're going to be talking about his marriage in a moment. But before I go into talking about your marriage and all that, I want to ask you, do you have a mentor, Stan? Do you have someone you look up to, a role model?
So RMD, Richard Moffett Damager, is one of the people that really inspire me and I look up to. I've not had so much time with him, but every time I have, it's like a treasured moment to receive and to adore. If I, of course, it's Jesus I adore, but you will know what I mean. Yes, Richard Moffett Damager. I mean, he has a career.
Okay.
So Denzel Washington. Yeah, but you know how he's there. Yes, yeah. So why RMD is close to home is that he's reachable. I mean, it's accessible for me. And if for RMD, I know that what I like most about RMD's career is the fact that he's like fine wine. He's been able to evolve over the years. He's been able to, be young and be great, be middle and be great, and be and still stay relevant. So that's sort of the career I want. That's how I want my career to look, and even more, because of course the glory of the later days will be greater than that of the former.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be greater.
Wow, awesome stuff. Great. Okay, so now let's talk about your marriage, right? Someone asked me to ask you about your YouTube channel, and it's really buzzing. Your YouTube channel is one of the most visited YouTube channels.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
Really, I mean, I know a lot of folks who will be enjoying on your YouTube channel. I mean, it's so amazing. So now, you're married to an amazing woman. Really,
yes.
Amazing. Interestingly, I didn't know her up close until you both got married, and I realized that this woman is a woman of valor. It's so amazing.
She is.
And I can see she's taking good care of you.
She's trying. She's trying her best.
Oh my!
It's Jesus that is taking care of me, and she's just the source. No, Jesus she's the channel.
Channel, yeah,
Channel.
join yeah, beautiful stuff. Yeah, but so if I may ask you, Stan, what role would you say your faith, played in you getting married to a blessing?
So faith played a huge role because I didn't connect with her outside of faith. I'd known her for a bit even before we really connected. Um, so I have me and some of our friends, like entertainment friends, we used to come together to pray like every Friday, yeah. And she was a part of that meeting, and I was a
Wow.
part of the meeting. So it was sort of a place for us to connect on a deep level. Um, for me, why I would say that faith played a huge role. I connected with my wife at a point where I was the most vulnerable in life, and then I was just connecting with her based on being a friend. I mean, so this meeting I'm talking about that
Yeah.
happens every Friday. There was a Friday she missed, and I had shared some deep things to the fellowship about some of the struggles I had. And so because she wasn't there, I think it was during that week, I was now just thinking of some of the things that I have shared and some of the things that I feel led to just share with people and have people and be accountable to people, basically. And maybe if I knew that I was going to get married to her, I would have been skeptical. I would probably have been saying, let me know, guys, share something. So they didn't know. So, but for me, I was at a point in my life where I wanted to be real. I was tired of faking it. I was tired of being what I was not, or making people feel like I was this and I was not. So I wanted people to know my genuine struggles. Guys, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I want to change from. This is my fallen man. I no longer want to be like this. I want to be like Christ. And if I'm going to be more like Christ, I will need people to be accountable to. I will need people to say, Stan, you can't do this. Stan, I will need people to be able to confess to when I fall. So she happened to be one of those people. So right now, my wife knows. So that sort of set a pedestal for us. And it's no longer hard to share anything. I've shared my deepest secret with her. So now I don't know the thing I want to do. Now we go be the thing, say, you don't mess up. People, so she knows and it was because of my faith. It was as a base, it was on the grounds of the word of God and what Christ has said about accountability that I'm doing this. So of course, we became very good friends, and things evolved from friends to dating, and then all these conversations that I want to tell you something. There's no more I want to tell you something because I already told you everything. So it's sort of
Yeah.
just eased everything out. Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. But if I just to ask this, yeah, at what point did you
Mm.
really know that she was the woman that was meant for you?
Um, at what point? At the point where I faced the most challenges, because I sort of faced a couple of challenges even with the relationship. We broke up at a certain time, off and on. It was December 2020. He was like, you know what, that stretch of final battle, if I come out of this, I'm done. I'm doing this. So I think it was 2020. And it felt like, for me too, it felt like it was never going to happen because the physical things were not saying we're not aligning to marriage, or we're not aligning to this is what it will be. you know. I know that I seek the face of God. I went into 3 days dry fasting. I didn't hear nada. Like, oh, I was hoping that God will appear in my dream and just say, send the angel. No angel appeared, nothing. But what I took out of that is I had peace of mind. Like, I had genuine peace.
Mm.
And what God also did for me is that he exposed her weaknesses, her faults, all the things that I felt like if I find this out in marriage is something that might break me. I found out even before we got married. So it's like, these are the things. Are you okay with these things? If you say yes, then fine. But if you say these things are deal breakers for you, then we might as well call it quits. So I saw everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, so I think it was after that December 2020, I knew that in my head, I was not looking for when to propose. I bought my ring in January or so. I bought the ring in January. I was not waiting for the day to propose. It didn't happen till May 2021, and then we got married. So to show that already it was proposed, we got married in less than 3 months after I said I proposed. We got married. I proposed on my birthday, May 15th, May, June, July, August, September 11th, we were married. Yeah, so about 3 months.
Great stuff, great stuff. I feel tempted asking you to sort of encourage single guys out there who are sort of dilly-dallying, when they should, just, strike.
Choose a life, but yeah. So the thing is, there's no hard and fast rule to what exactly. I'm not going to say now it's exactly what I did or this how. The key thing is knowing God and getting married to someone that knows God, listening to God and obeying God, because I'm a man after God's heart. God will not let me get into a marriage that would destroy me. I mean, and I'm not saying that. I think sometimes we try to focus on the wrong things. Height, color, those things are great, but that's not what is most important. Even by seek ye first. You need car, but seek ye first the kingdom. And this car, so it's not saying that you will not drive a good car, but can you leave that and do the one that is most important? The reason why we are here. What's the essence of all the cars that you're going to drive if after everything you're 6 feet under the ground? If 6 feet under the ground is the most important goal in life, think about it. Oh, I don't have a child. Oh, you're born. Great. That vision don't come out. Hey, you never go secondary school. Oh, you go. School fees don't come. You go. You don't have a job, or you get work. Oh, yes. We never chop. Oh, the food come. That vision is gone. You don't chop up. You do, you marry, marry. After you travel, I've not gone to Eiffel Tower, I've not done Dubai. You do all those things after everything. The vision is to go to the grave. So if there's a life after now, why am I killing myself over these things that are temporal and losing sight of the actual goal? So I think if we have that mindset, it will help us. Yeah. Some things that will not be so much of a challenge anymore. So make Jesus the center. Make Jesus the center. And it's not about when you want to get married. A friend of mine just put it this way. You don't start looking for God when you're trying to make the most important decision in your life. You should have found him way before then. He should have been advising you on choice of job, choice of what to wear to work. You should have been hearing from God on the most little things. You should have been hearing and obeying diligently years before that, moments before that, before you now say you want to now tell God to ask to tell you who to marry. So there are things you should have been doing in the background before that. So find God first. Find yourself first. I know that I always tell my wife before we go married, sometimes they say, "Oh, you're my happiness." I say, "I'm not your happiness. Jesus is your happiness." Find that, settle it, so that the day me too, I will be getting, the day I'm not all right, the day I have score, now say, because I'm not happy, you are not happy. Jesus is the foundation, is your happiness. He's the center. Every other thing revolves around that. The reason I'm not going to be cranky when I wake up in the morning is that I know that the joy of the Lord is my strength, and He renews my joy every morning. I take from that, and that is from that joy I have in Christ that I can now designate, and you can experience my joy. So I think that's what people need to concentrate on first: discovering God and discovering themselves, being whole on themselves, and they can now. It's with that you can now attract the one that will become your life partner. I also advise be friends, be open, be genuine. The reason that things will come as a shocker to your partner in marriage is the fact that you were scared. I'd rather that an engagement breaks because of some of the things that I was willing to share before we got married, that will now wait 10 years into marriage. We'll not start sharing some deep things and will not make it so difficult for the other party. Let's be genuine and experience real love and show real love. It is in real love. I'm not saying feelings now, filial, not filial, agape, because you cannot love anyone outside the love of Christ. Because the truth is, the one that is new every morning is the love of Christ. That one, after sex, it don't disappear. You're wondering, what is this person doing on my bed? So how long are you going to do that? How long do you think that can sustain you? 50 years, 75? It's not sustainable. The love that is sustainable in marriage is agape. The love your neighbor as Christ, or love your brother as Christ has loved the church. So that's the one that sustains. So you need to find that first. Make that the basis, the foundation, and then you can find someone that will complement that.
Wow. This has been a very inspiring conversation, Stan. We should be bringing this to a wrap. And I just have like 2 or 3 questions to wrap this up with. Thank you so much for your time, really.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's just talk about, okay, you guys have a YouTube channel. Someone asked me to ask you, why did you set up a YouTube channel? And, you and your wife started up a YouTube channel. Like, what was the reason behind it?
Okay, we're studying, there's this book we've been studying from Elevation. So during the beginning of the year, Elevation was doing devotionals with they proposed living life by Rick Warren. Yes, and I know that one of the chapters was talking about, I can't remember the heading now, was basically talking about making the best of your potentials. He talked about the parable of the talents and how the one that got one, and it was basically from there that we started thinking about the different things. We've just spoken about it randomly, but we started thinking about the different things we can do to harness the things that God has put in our hands. I said, great. So we talked about our ministry right from our the session we had with Pastor Godman, marriage class and counseling, about the assignments we had, having our marriage vision, what we had in store for.
I mean, you talked about the course you did. Sorry, the Amari course. That was also one.
Yeah. So it was the Amari course, actually. So it was from the Amari course. We knew that we had to write a vision about our family, the things we wanted to do. So out of our vision as a family, we knew that we had a ministry together, and part of this ministry will be reaching out to people and changing lives. So we thought about it. How is the best? We're already in media. We have access to cameras. We have access to, making films that will transform people, another avenue. YouTube is huge. We can be doing some of these films instead of looking for where to sell it. We put it on YouTube. Just things. And I know that when we're going to start that YouTube channel, I was still racking my head on what exactly to do, because we didn't know what to say. We didn't know what to put. We didn't know what to do. I said, okay, let's do skits. Let's call Zendiala. Zubi Mike, he has followers on YouTube. He will help us. I said, okay, Brother Shaggy has been calling me to do skits for him. Let's feature him. Back and forth. No one was working. I said, okay, let's do this. At a point, I even gave up. I said, I'm not even trying again. Because sometimes we will try to do it because it's so difficult to record because our schedules are different, right? So sometimes she's shooting, I'm not shooting. Sometimes I'm shooting. Sometimes both of us are shooting. We're tired. We come back at night. So it's hard to do these things. At a point, I think I'm not going to try to make this YouTube thing work again. I've tried twice. I think people were on a standby camera, but maybe she didn't come back early. So I think after a while, she just said, okay, don't worry, I'll organize this one. If you are free on this so day, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, but we don't know what we'll talk about. So I know that she now said that she knows that a lot of people have been asking questions on, because we didn't make our relationship public. We left it a bit really private, and nobody knew we were getting married until like a day before we got married. So there were a lot of people that were yearning to know, how did you guys meet? How did you guys keep this marriage a secret? This. A lot of media houses were asking us to come and share it as an exclusive with them, you know. And we said, instead of sharing this exclusive with these media houses, how about we share this exclusive on our channel? Never heard before story of how we met. And that was it. We recorded the very first one, clueless. One of the camera, the lens was dirty. If you look watch the very first episode, it looks so different from what it looks like now. We just said, let's just even do it. Instead of procrastinating, let's try even do something and put this thing out. And that was how we did it. First day, and when we were posting it, I said, even if it gets to 1,000 views or 2,000, we're fine. First 10 minutes, within 1 hour, we are doing 2,000 views. That night, the first night we dropped it. If I wanted to drop it on Friday, it didn't work. Saturday, it didn't work. We always announced on our page that we're opening a YouTube channel. People are asking, where is the channel now? If you say you open, you drop the thing. In fact, we now put the link, open the channel without any content, we put the link. People were now going to follow the channel without even having anything. But as soon as we dropped the first stuff, it was like, boom. I can't even remember. I know that the first day, after the first night, we were like at over 30K views. It was like 38K views. As I posted it again, that day it got to 100K views. After that day, it was just growing. Now it's almost like over 600K views now. You know, and it's been 5 months. Been about 5 months now, about almost 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's how people stay clamoring for more. We just made it a series of just sharing the entire story, right from when we met to when we got married. And I think that's where we are now. Where we got married, because we're still going to share stories on our honeymoon, because people are already asking. You say you will share a story on your honeymoon. We'll still share that. But right now we're doing a series on sharing other people's marital experience. I mean, we just have about 10 months experience. So there are people that are more experienced in this marriage thing. So we bring them on the show just to share their own struggles. How has it been? They say that the first 2 years is the toughest. How was your first 2 years? Is this possible? Because I think a lot of people see a lot of marriages that are not working, forgetting that there are lots that are working and nobody's even talking about it. So that's what we've been focusing on. So instead of focusing on the ones that are not working, we're focusing on the ones that are working, and we're drawing strength from that.
Wow, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Stan. I'm sure the viewer who sent in that question will be happy with your response. Okay, so my last two questions. What is that one experience that really shook your faith in God? What would you say that experience is?
One experience that really shook my faith. So, I mean, before I became really strong, I already mentioned that my sister has cerebral palsy. And this was right from birth, right from when I was a kid. So I wouldn't say that shook my faith, but it sort of just brings up questions. You know how I'm feeling like, God, you can do everything, right? And I know that you have done so much for me. I live in divine health. It's been like 12 years and counting. I've not tested paracetamol, Panadol, or any of those. But my sister is still living in this condition. So sometimes I'm wondering, I would just, how you just ask this genuine question. Is it that you cannot do this one, or you don't want to do this one, or you rather not do this one, or there are things that we have not done to require that you do this one? It sort of shakes me sometimes. But it hasn't taken from my faith, because at every time I ask this question, there's always something comforting. That, I mean, I've heard of pastors too that will perform miracles, but maybe they have so and so issues that God has still not. So I mean, he's KBOC. I mean, you can't. I don't have all the answers, but one thing I know is that God is faithful. God is powerful. God is a loving God. Everything he does is good. If not for anything, maybe there's something I'm not doing right. But until I discover all these things, he is good. Like I was asking my friends during our last video, I said to them, for people that are facing challenges, what would you do differently? How would you be fixing your circumstance if you knew that your light was at the end of the year? If God, you know that he has opened your eyes, you have seen that by the end of this year, you will be one of the greatest men ever lived on earth. Will you be so bothered about the situation of now? Really? Will you be so cranky about it? Will you be throwing tantrums? How dare you do this project like this? Will you be so angry? I put it this way. If somebody gave you a G-Wagon for free now, tear rubber, everything, and somebody mistakenly throws your iPhone 11 on the floor and the screen smashes, do you think you'll be so angry at the, what do you mean, iPhone? I will fix that. I will benefit that one. So the reason that sometimes and most times we act up in the face of challenges is that we don't even know God, or we don't trust, we don't believe that he has sorted it out. He gave me an illustration in church sometime about the miracle of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. What do you think the attitude of the 300th man? He said he fed 5,000 men, right?
Yeah.
What would be the attitude of the 300th man when they were giving the 10th man? Bearing in mind, there were just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. How would the 4,000th man? He said he asked all of them to sit down. They all sat. And then they started sharing. It tells me one thing. He said to me, the reason that you are cranky and the reason that you're going to fight over the first man getting the fish right now and bread is that you don't believe that it's enough to satisfy all of you. You don't believe it. You don't have faith. If you knew that these 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish will feed these 5,000 men here, everybody will be seated, knowing that I don't care how much man A wants to eat, he will get to man Z. I don't care how man 10 wants to eat, to my own will reach me. He said they had leftovers. It was 12 buckets. It was plenty. It went wrong. So they had faith. They had faith to be able to sit and know that this man will do this thing. So the reason that you are cranky right now is that you don't know that God will do this one before. You don't think it's never going to end. Because if you knew that this challenge had an end, you would not be acting up right now. When that phone cracked, you already know, just give God praise. You say, why would I be giving God praise? My phone just cracked. I beg, don't tell me that thing. Don't tell me that you go fix my phone. See, this mirror when I just fix now, you don't enter the traffic, you just pass out. I beg, don't tell me. I don't live, not because I'm a Christian. No. Do this thing, I beg, give me my money. Because you don't know. So most times those circumstances are even opportunities for us to preach the gospel and let our lives do the preaching. How much is 18,000? How much is iPhone 11 screen? I'm not saying it's not money, but placed on the scheme of things and the things that are important, how important is it? So I don't even know how I got here.
I'm sure someone is just really being touched by what you just shared. Really, thank you so much, Stan. You've been so.
Thank you for having me.
You've been so inspiring. This is not really an important question, but what is your favorite food?
Beans and plantain. Even though I think I don't know if I've had it so much, I think it's almost going to be changing. I'm looking for new food, but for now, it's still beans and plantain.
Cool stuff. Well,
you want to send me some food?
I'm sure one of your fans is planning in a bag of beans.
Okay. If you send me
That'll be a
some
tough
bags
part,
of
yeah.
things, I will appreciate it.
Awesome, awesome. Your favorite Bible character?
But Joseph, because I think my career too, and I'm a minister in the marketplace, so we sort of have similar, yeah.
Great stuff. What are the major principles you live by?
Um, I feel like saying do not take life so seriously, but it will look like I'm a serious person. But yeah, what's the worst that can happen? It's a day at a time, right? It's not that serious. The most important thing is the end. So whatever happens now, I'm going to be out of it. I'm good. My wife says that's my most favorite phrase. What's the most? It's not that bad. We are not dead. We are alive. We will come through it. So I think if you live,
Great stuff.
I cannot be doing anything, but it's easy peasy. Easy does it.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Stan. I mean, we've really had a good time, on this episode, and I really can't thank you once again enough for the time you've really spent with me today. Personally, I've been inspired myself. I've been touched.
I'm glad.
You know, I mean, it's been nice speaking with you. So we should bring this to a wrap, but I just wanted to speak a word of blessing to your listeners. People who haven't seen you in this form. I want them to see you, speak a blessing to them, and really, please go ahead.
All right, Father, in the name of Jesus, I just want to bless you for this opportunity to tabernacle with you. Oh Lord, I pray this moment for everyone listening to this and everyone that will ever come across this, that they will know you for who you really are, that they would have a personal encounter, that you give each and every one of them a personal encounter as they start to yearn and hunger for you. It will be new every morning, and they will meet you, and you will meet them at the point of how they have hungered for you. In the mighty name of Jesus, you said that we should seek, we will find, we should knock, and the door will be open to us. Let this be their testimony right now, in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
And thank you so much, Stan. Thank you to all my listeners and viewers. We've been speaking with Stan Nze, an amazing Nollywood actor, international actor, whom God is really using, in the global space. And we're so happy to have him on the show, share with us the amazing stuff, that God is doing through him and with him. My name is Shino, and I'm sure you've been blessed today. And I just want to encourage you to please hit the share button. Let someone else get blessed by what you have just listened to. You can also follow Stan Nze on social media. I think Stan_Nze or Stan Nze.
Stan Nze on Instagram, Stan_Nze on Twitter. Then,
Okay.
of course, Stan Nze, Facebook, Stan Nze, TikTok.
Yeah, your YouTube channel, the Nze, right?
The Nze is THENZES.
So please follow him and also get more inspiration, and all that. I mean, thank you so much, Stan. Please, our regards to your amazing wife. Really appreciate letting you be on the call today. All right. Until I come in next time, guys, stay blessed and, keep God at the center of everything you do. Bless you.